Right.
So, welcome back to another episode of Constant Agitation. I'm your host Jimmy, and as usual, I have with me Eva Garmendia.
Hey.
How you doing today?
Fine. It's a bit of a hectic day with some news and some podcasting. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
What kind of news are you thinking about?
The big bad news.
Yeah,
The heartbreaking news, as you call them.
I'm very sad.
What happened, Jimmy?
Today, Fuji discontinued Fuji Pro400H,
Mm.
and that was the first thing you told me in the morning. And I was like, "Am I still asleep? I hope this is a nightmare." But we all knew it's been coming for a while. I mean, Fuji. There was rumors. I think 2 days ago I was browsing Instagram
Mm-hmm.
and there was somebody already like hoarding some,
Yeah, something like that. It was
right? Somebody was like, I already got some Fuji Pro 400H
because this
about to
is
go in the
coming.
freezer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they had some insider news, I think.
yeah. I think every like there was rumors,
Yeah.
you know. I don't know, but a lot of people mentioned it, and the reason why they discontinued apparently is that the raw materials are harder to procure or getting more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's that proprietary fourth layer that they add
Yeah,
for the dynamic range. But I don't know. I
I re-
always thought it was a black and white layer embedded in the film to make it more dynamic range.
I have not read specifically about the chemistry of the film. I don't know why it's special. I know maybe other Fuji films also have this fourth layer. I think that's something that I've seen like kind of advertised in other films. I know Fuji is the only one that has that. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, maybe that's the only one that I knew of. And there's a lot of speculations going on. Some people are saying that they might bring it back with a new um, version of it, at least like they did with the Acros.
Yeah. So I read an interesting article this morning as well, where they were like, okay, maybe not everything is bad news, that this happened. So Fujifilm also discontinued Acros back in the day, because of the same reason, not because people wouldn't want it. Like it's not because they're not selling enough. In fact, I think Fuji Pro
Yeah.
400 Pro 400H is a film that if you are shooting film, you most likely are shooting that film. A lot of professional photographers, wedding photographers that use that film on a day-to-day basis. So I don't think there is a lack of need for that film, but they say they don't get the raw materials. It was the same reason why they stopped Acros one back in the day,
Mm.
but then they came out with a second um, emulsion or a second
Version of it.
chemistry or
Yeah.
version something, Acros 2, which is the one that is available now. So they were saying in this article that perhaps not so far in the future we will have maybe a second version of Pro 400H, which I would be really happy about.
Yeah, I wouldn't get my hopes up so high though because I don't know. I mean, it comes down to taste, but I think this was a bad move. I think at least if they plan to release another version, they might as well had it prepared and ready.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Before, like, so they introduce the new
Yeah.
version, and then they'd be like, all right, now that you have this new version, you're gonna slowly stop seeing the old one.
Yeah, like that you should have some sort of preparation to know what's gonna happen. You are not gonna have enough to make this one, so you prepare to make another one. I don't know how was the case of Acros because it was maybe I didn't know about it when it was happening, so I don't know if they came shortly after or if it was something that they planned to discontinue one and make another one. I have no idea, but I rather be maybe a little bit optimist about this. I
Yeah,
know it's sad. I am also sad about it.
of course. I mean, it's the best approach to be optimistic about it. There is another thing that we also learned today that the Fuji Pro 160 NS,
Mhm.
is it NS?
NS, yeah.
Yeah, they still sell it after they discontinue it in the
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 world,
world
yeah.
basically in 2018, I think.
Mhm.
Apparently, it's still available in Japan
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
sale only for the Japanese market,
Mhm.
which is also strange because why wouldn't you sell it abroad? I don't know. And I mean, as you mentioned earlier, it's a very popular film among professionals and wedding photographers specifically. But also, as you mentioned, it's at a high time demand. Nowadays, film is making a
Getting better,
comeback, you
yeah.
know. So I find it upsetting and strange. It's just I don't dislike Kodak emulsions at all. I mean, I think, which is not a common thing, but you know that I love the Vision 3, the motion picture film.
Yep.
And it's not as good when it comes to quality control the way we get it. We're trying to figure out a better way to have some of it for our own use, you know, especially in 120 format. But you know, even the Portra 400 is kind of growing on me slowly. It's a good film.
It is.
Like internally, I do like hate on it between me and myself, but then I shoot it again and I'm like,
Maybe.
these are really good. You know what I mean? I just hate to admit it.
We had
sometimes.
the chance to also shoot some Portra 800 on the trip that we will see how it comes out. So
Yeah, we pushed some. I think we pushed Portra 400 3 stops, right?
I'm confused now. Maybe we
I-
had so many combinations
I
of
think
things.
there was like one single roll that was pushed 3 stops, and it was a Portra 400. Still didn't scan it yet. I think I took a peek and kind of looks promising. But yeah, I mean, here's what I wanted to say. Is that it's not just upsetting to me that Fuji 400 Pro H is gone because I like the film. It's because one less player in the market there's one less player in the market is what I'm trying to say. Because think about anything. Think about any consumer product or professional product. Like look at Canon and Nikon and Sony and all these digital cameras. Look at your smartphones, right? They have competition, and that's the main driver to get better.
Yeah.
Right? So if there wasn't Nikon, Canon wouldn't be like fighting as hard to get your purchase.
Yeah.
Right?
You think like innovation and the progress of film gets reduced the less people are working on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The less choices you have, the more, well, basically you're creating a monopoly.
Yeah, and also the prices are increasing because there is less availability, so there is more demand, which will mean higher prices.
Yeah.
And it's already expensive enough.
I mean, think about it. Like you have Lomo. I'm not sure, but I heard that Lomo buys from Kodak.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well.
And I think Cine still also. I think Lomo have multiple suppliers. Most probably Kodak is the main one. And Cine still, really good film, also relies on Kodak.
That's true.
So basically, all the color film that exists now is coming from Kodak. So that worries me. Like, let's say Kodak played super nice guy and didn't monopolize the market in a bad way and raise the prices to the roof.
And continue sharing with other.
Look, I understand the raise of the price now. Because of all the economical situation in the world is kind of messed up. So it makes sense that maybe I think we saw it together on Silver Grain Classic, Fire by the Fire chat stream thing. They had a Kodak representative. And he was saying that logistics are more difficult nowadays and the raw materials are harder to come by. That causes to increase the price.
Yeah, it's justify increase, basically.
Right?
It's not just to hoard the market and make more money out of it. I want to hope that that's the case.
Exactly. So I'm assuming that that's the case. I'm assuming that Kodak cares about this community and wanting it to keep. I mean, that it's their main business. So it's for their own good to keep it alive. But what I'm worried about is what if something to happen to Kodak? Then no more color film, basically.
We all shoot black and white. Go back to the beginning. Or trichrome photography.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm just worried. And I don't know what the solution is. Like, I'm definitely against what's going on. People hating on Kodak and boycotting their products and stuff like that. I don't know if it works. I mean, Kodak 400H was the only. Fuji. I meant to say Fuji. So Fuji 400H was the mostly only product that I buy from Fuji regularly. So like I can't boycott them because that's already they boycotted me. They got me out. You know what I mean? But what I'm thinking is, would that work? Do you think? What do you think?
No.
Like people who already consume Fuji products, they are mostly in the digital market, right?
I would say, yeah, I think the biggest part of Fuji is digital, obviously.
Yeah. So what I'm worried about is that if Fuji stopped, if people stopped buying Fuji C200,
Yeah, they wouldn't care. They would just stop making film and focus more on the digital side. I
right?
don't think the boycott works in that way for them. I don't think so. But recently we have been getting to know more Fuji film products, like that are only sold in the East market and in Australia, like Fuji Superior, like Premium
Venus.
400. Venus 800 has been discontinued as well,
Yeah.
so that's also another one that died. So there's not so much left. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, 120. There's nothing now in color,
No.
unless you consider the NS.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Why is it being produced though? I went to their website and it didn't show up.
No.
But it's true that it's not a consumer film. It's like it's marketed as professional film as well. So I don't know if I just couldn't find the side of the website where they have that kind of thing. I don't know.
I think well the Fujifilm.com is more like an international website.
Yeah, but they do have a
They do have a Japan section and they
yeah.
have everything.
Oh.
But what I read, well, I found an article on Wikipedia, so I don't know how legit is that. But the only ongoing film that they have in color 120 is the 160 NS.
Yeah.
But it also specifies that it's only available in the Japanese market.
Yeah.
I mean, the box we have is fresh till 2022.
Yeah, January 2022 we bought it
Yeah.
from someone that brought it from Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, so
So everybody out there, get a film dealer from Japan that can supply you with film. That would be the best solution. Maybe we can drive it a little bit more.
yeah, I hope so. How's it looking in the
It's looking good. We have Matthias here and CM. Hi
Hey
guys.
guys, thanks for watching.
Thank you for here. What am I looking at?
You're waving at my camera. Yeah. Okay, so you wanna get into the next topic of today? How about we jump into some questions?
Yeah, we can talk about some questions and let me see what I wanna ask you today, Jimmy. I think I have something here saved from people that contacted us
On Instagram?
on Instagram. Yeah. Um, how do you guys feel, or rather, do you guys feel pressure to be super social and advertise the channel for it to grow?
All right. So if you're just listening to the podcast and you don't know that this also exists on YouTube, this is our YouTube channel is mostly about film photography. And here's the thing. I don't know exactly what is pressure means, but the way I see it is that we like making these videos. We enjoy making these videos. This is like our outlet to share our passion and love about these old cameras and the art of film photography. And so we want to share it with people who might be also interested. Um, we're not great at it. Like we're not hype beasts by by any definition of the word. But yeah, I mean, we share some stuff. We let you guys know that we're gonna be here today. But there is not a big pressure. Like, I mean, I know people who post more about the salads they eat than how much we post
Yeah,
about
I
the
mean,
channel.
there
Yeah.
is this how to say, like, best practices that they say for like online businesses and YouTube channels, and if you want to create like a big following in Instagram and stuff, that you should like be constant and be there every day and share every aspect of your life and stuff. That's not really the approach that we're taking, and I don't think that's the approach that we will take in the future. Like, we share the things that we think people might find interesting, but we don't overshare stuff like or yeah, things we're eating, or just for the sake of appearing in the stories app,
Exactly.
or for making a post, basically.
100%. I mean, sometimes I feel like we should post more. Like we talk about it. Let's post
Yeah.
something. This channel has been inactive or something. But then we like, this is so silly. Maybe we just like, there's nothing of substance to share. So why just, you know? Um, so yeah, I don't think there's that much pressure. Um, I feel like if you do something that you like and you share it, with time, people who share the same interest will find you, and you will grow a community. And I think like if we overdo it, we might attract more people. But
Maybe it would be less genuine. I don't know.
it
Like,
like now I like where we're at. Like we know most of the people that are following us,
mm-hmm.
at least on Instagram and in the communities that we're
Yeah,
in.
and
We have
people that
almost a personal relationship.
yeah, and the people that comment regularly in the videos we upload, like there's some people that as soon as we upload, like within 1-2 days, they comment something. So there's people that are out there and they like the content, and it's nice when we have this communication in that way.
Yeah, I actually find myself like I want the channel to grow, but at the same time I almost dread the thinking about it too much to the point that there's gonna be so many people and I won't know them by name anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, no, there is no pressure. We're having fun, and we hope you guys are too.
Yeah.
Um, anything else you got yesterday that you want to share?
Well, Miguel here, he's commenting, I have the feeling that there is a big disconnect in social networks. Yeah, I mean, we were also talking about this the other day, right? That as photographers, like Instagram, how much intent there is on the things that are done, like posting out photos or stories, and so on and so forth. Like, does a photo lose value when it's shared in that non-conscious way, generalist way that it is Instagram? Remember we were having this
Yeah,
conversation?
actually, we got a question from our friend Vaga,
Ah, yeah, yeah.
right? I
That's
promised him
nice.
that we'll get to it in this
Yes.
episode as well. And I think he asked, let me pull it up really quickly. He asked me about how do I feel about the
iPhone photography.
if iPhone photography is killing
Or hurting.
or hurting the art. Where is it? I lost it. I'm so sorry. Well, the question basically was along the line that because I put my phone in airplane mode, so I can't go into my Instagram where I saved it.
I think it maybe was in the channel.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So the question was, if do you think iPhone photography is hurting photography as an art form? Um, I thought about the question, so if I don't get it verbatim, it was along these lines. Um, so my answer to that is yes and no. I remember my first actual camera that takes pictures,
Mm-hmm.
that actually used it to take pictures, because before that I had a 110 camera. I don't know if I told you about it. I had a 110 camera, never loaded film.
I have one of those at home also in my shelf
Yeah,
always.
it was. I think it was my uncle's camera or
Mm-hmm.
somebody's camera who left it when they traveled, and yeah, nobody was using it, so I just took it around and I,
Look through the
looked
viewfinder.
through it
I know.
and pretend that I'm taking a picture. but but after that, I didn't have a camera because I was young, and until I got my first smartphone. So smartphones were my first camera to be, you know, for me to use and take actual pictures with, and I loved it. I think it was the beginning of my passion for like actual applying photography,
Mm-hmm.
and
Consciously taking photos, basically. Yeah.
exactly
Mm-hmm.
like taking a photo, not with just my imagination,
Yeah.
and so no, I don't think that the iPhone or the Samsung or whatever, like the smartphone as a camera, is hurting. It's just a tool. It's just another camera. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, do you think Minoltas are hurting? Or no, they're just cameras. What I do think they're doing is, as a consumption device,
Mm-hmm.
they're overloading you with pictures. Like if you go to my Instagram, most of the people I follow are photographers. And when I scroll through my Instagram, I see these great photos, one after the other, in a stream of non-ending photos. You
Mm-hmm.
know, just one great photo after the other, and I get oversaturated with great photos to the point that I become almost desensitized to. So after looking at, let's say, I don't know how many photos, 30 pictures before I burn out,
Mm-hmm.
and just because it's so easy to swipe, I don't have to walk to the next picture as if I was in a gallery,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm just swiping through pictures, and the picture number 31 might be the greatest picture ever, but I'm burnt out. I'm saturated.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that's one aspect of
Phones themselves
yeah,
hurting, perhaps.
basically the internet and these social media
Mm-hmm.
platforms. They're so dismissible, right?
Yeah, it's like it kind of depreciates, loses value.
Yeah. There's way too many photos
Yeah.
now. You know, there's way too many great photos. And also I think there's a the I think this applies more to digital photography, and it can apply to film as well. But I feel like because it's so easy to take these photos, and it's even easier to edit them now
On the
than
phone
before,
itself,
you
yeah.
know, like, so compare the digital camera to the analog camera. So
Mm-hmm.
much easier to take with the digital, like
Mm-hmm.
more photos. That's one. Two, the analog darkroom, it takes many more hours of work
Mm-hmm.
to get similar results to what you can do on Lightroom or
In 10
any.
minutes, yeah.
Yeah, you just, you just touch sliders.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody who tried working in a darkroom, you know that for every edit you have to make a new print basically to
Mm-hmm.
see how you affected the final print. And so it's good. I like it. I like how easy it is for me to use, but at the same time, I think we're hurting photography as an art because we're abusing it
Mm-hmm.
as people. I mean, and using these social media platforms and running after um, the likes and the hypes and the attention.
Yeah.
And look, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not faulting anybody for doing it, but when we're all doing it as
A group.
a
Mm-hmm.
group, as a community, as the whole world, yeah, it's gonna have its effects on this art form. So
What about also the aspect that phone photography makes photography a fast art, in a sense, or a fast experience? You know, we were talking also about how part of why we like shooting film so much, and it's that sometimes when we're shooting these pictures in these cameras, then we remember that what was our thinking in that moment, how we were actually approaching taking the photo, and that's something that stays in our memory and stays with us. Whereas having the phone, you just pull up the phone, take a photo. There is not so much of a conscious process and not a process that would stay in your mind. So how is that affecting photography?
uh, it's so funny. If you remember, the same day we got this question, so I think last Friday,
Mm-hmm.
were having dinner watching YouTube, and we came across one of our favorite creators, Vsauce.
Yeah.
And if you missed his latest video, I recommend you go watch it.
I urge you to go
Yeah,
watch it.
I won't feel offended if you leave this,
And you go
go
watch
watch
it.
it, and then come back to us later because I mean, Vsauce is amazing, and
And that video in particular, he's just getting better with the videos.
yeah, he's really good, and I'm not gonna ruin it for you, but it's about time, right? And there's so much information in there, but he talked about something, a very simple concept, that the way we remember things, the way we experience time, um, of like, let's say you're trying to remember something that happened to you in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and how long do you feel it was?
So there's two types of
Two
two
types,
two ways of experiencing time.
right?
Now on the moment when it's happening, and then when you remember back at how it was, basically,
Yeah.
right?
So I'm gonna use the same examples that
Yeah.
he did.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you are waiting at the airport because your flight got delayed. Leaving it then feels endless. Feels it's like the time is not passing because you're just stuck there and you can't do anything. But then after the whole thing is over, you went on your vacation, you came back. Looking back, that part where you stayed stuck at the airport because of the delay feels insignificant.
It feels like it was so fast. Yeah.
It doesn't. You barely even make note of it in your head. It
Mm-hmm.
feels short, insignificant. But then the time that happened after, where you actually got to your destination and spent actual time doing things, when looking back at it, it feels longer. Like
Yeah.
it's more packed with time,
With
with
memories,
events,
sort of. Yeah.
right? But while being in it,
Maybe it doesn't feel.
it feels like it went so fast. Oh my God, I've been here all like for a week already. I feel like I need another
Yeah,
week in
it
this
always
vacation,
happens in the
right?
trips. Yeah.
So that was like the standard kind of observation to how people experience time during and after the fact, looking
Yeah.
back at it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, recently, apparently, there's a third time,
Way. Yeah.
right? And it's called, so these two types were called long short and short
Short
long.
long. Mm-hmm.
Long short referring to something annoying and then later you don't remember it. And short long is like having so much fun, it's passing quickly, and then looking back at it, it's full of memories and it's longer.
Mm-hmm.
So the new type is short short. And it's been noticed by people who are spending time watching TV. So let's say you're sitting there on Netflix, binge watching a series, right? You can
Yeah.
spend hours doing that. But looking back at it, it's insignificant
As
as a
well.
memory.
Yeah.
You know, you remember watching the series, but you don't remember how
And so
long.
many times you don't even remember details about the series. We consume so much, then it just gets forgotten.
Exactly.
It that happens to me so many times, and I sometimes I get annoyed with myself or like upset that I spend all this time doing something passively, which is watching something, and then I don't even remember. I sometimes I remember concepts or I remember how I felt about this particular scene or something like that, but nothing more than that. Whereas when we are doing something more actively, how we feel the time was, it's so different. So then you actually were thinking how this relates also to
To photography.
photography.
Yeah. So compare the amount of time it takes you to, and I mean, maybe I'm picking and choosing,
Mm.
right? But when you're shooting, I was gonna compare large format, but I don't think it's a fair comparison.
No, also
So
it's not so common.
yeah, so magnify that if you want to if you want to compare it to large format. Let's say even if you're shooting 120 or 135.
Mm-hmm.
If you're shooting 135, you know you have 36 frames,
Yeah.
and you're conscious of these 36 frames. Like you look at the counter, you're counting down.
Yeah.
Even if you have another film in your pocket, you know you have to change it at some point,
Yeah.
right? So there is more engagement. There is more events happening.
Yeah.
Oh, I have 4 frames left and I'm going to a concert. Like that is something is happening there,
Some engagement. Yeah.
right? But
Mm.
when you just like pull up your phone and poop, snap a photo, it's it's almost void of any consideration
It is.
to the process,
It totally is. I mean, we have to call it for what it is.
right? Like I mean, and they got so good nowadays, you know.
Yeah, the
We
cameras
took
are really
we
nice.
took aurora pictures
Yeah.
using this phone. I'm not kidding. They're
Yeah.
good. They're good. So
Yeah.
I'm not hating on them as a camera. They're
No.
great cameras.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they're so easy, it's creating this. It's decreasing the meaningfulness of every shot you take because there was less.
And also your experience looking at it retroactively, it's also been diminished because I don't remember 90% of the photos I took with my phone. What was I thinking when I took it? Did I put any thought into maybe exposing this better, framing this thing in a specific way? I don't really remember.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you something. It's nice because you can focus all your attention on the composition
Yeah.
because you just click a button. So in that case, they're amazing. But other than that, there's barely any consideration. Like, think of the fact that you're shooting a slower film at night, and then you have to account for reciprocity and all that kind of stuff. You remember. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I still remember the day we took that panorama photo.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember all the shots, but specifically that one where we had to count reciprocity. Every time I counted reciprocity, I remembered like so many details of what
Yeah.
happened. And it's fun. And even if nobody else liked those photos, they mean something to me at least. I mean, I have a lot of great photos on my phone. I don't remember all of them the same way I remember the photos that I put more thoughts
Mm-hmm.
into.
Yeah.
And I assume if everybody like just take a minute to think about that, they will have a similar experience.
I agree. I totally agree. And I think that's part of the charm of what we do, what we do.
Yeah.
At least to me, it's very important.
I think you kind of found a thread you were telling me about on how this topic relates to what we really want to talk about today.
Which is the main
Yeah, our photographer of the
our
day.
photographer of the week.
Yeah.
Yes, or yeah, it was a group of thoughts that kind of came all together, and different, let's say, concepts that can relate to each other and could be connected, and in particular also with our photographer of the week. Who is our photographer of the week?
It's one of your favorites.
It's, I would say, my
Our
favorite,
favorite.
our favorite and my favorite.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
just really like
I love her too.
her
We're
work.
gonna talk about Vivian Meier.
Yes.
Um,
Yay.
I mean, it's you know. Do you wanna navigate us through that? Through that.
Through her work, her
Yeah.
story, her. I wish I could do another doctoral thesis on Vivian Maier's life and work. There's a lot of information out there, much more now than back when I discovered about her, which is when the whole world discovered that she existed or that she had done a huge body of photography work. Um, I am not sure if all our listeners currently now, live or later on time, know about her, but Vivian Meier is a photographer that worked mostly between the 50s and the late 70s, 80s. She unfortunately passed away on 2009, I believe, so in the beginning of the 2000s. And she is known for something that not a lot of people did back in the days, which is doing street photography with a TLR. So her main amount of work, or the most important work, is shooting out in the streets of Chicago and New York also as well, with a twin reflex lens. Mostly they were Rolleiflexes, what she used to use, and she used different ones throughout her life. And also black and white work, mostly. There is some color work, we can talk about it a little bit, but mostly black and white work. She has a very particular way of seeing life, I would say, because to me, photographers and the photography work that we see of people is basically how they see life. And she just has a way to seeing the things around that are, to me, is super attractive. Like I feel magnetized towards her photos. Like I look at her photos and they make me feel good inside, and they bring like smiles to my face because of the way that she framed what she was seeing around. What's your feeling about her work?
I mean, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I think here's the thing. Um, we we were talking about the idea is that are old photos good because they're good or because they're old?
Yeah, that's something that came out as I was. So I was reviewing some of her of the books that are available of her work to prepare for this episode, and I was um, I was reading through the books and I was looking at the photos, right? And some of the photos which are beautiful, like I don't argue at all that they are good photos and they're beautiful photos, but in some way sometimes they're simple photos. They're just
Hold on, let me
yeah.
hand you a thread. Okay? I want you to look at this photo. I think our viewers also see it. You can see it here on the screen.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Ah, yeah, yeah.
This is not by Vivian Maier, by the way. But I think you made a very interesting correlation to this photo.
Yeah.
So this is a photo, a very old photo. I think it was the first documented photo of a man smiling in a picture.
Yeah. Vsauce presented it. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Also from the
Yeah.
Vsauce video.
From the video.
And
And he was presenting that this photo sometimes is a little of a cognitive dissonance on people when they see it, because people wonder, is this really an old photo because it looks old? It's a black and white photo. It looks like it could have been taken in an old film stock and then developed and everything. But then people think, but is it really old or is it new? Because the expression of the man being in the photo, it's so foreign. It's so foreign to us to put together the concept of old photo and person in the photo. Right?
Exactly. It's uncommon.
It's uncommon.
Usually
Actually,
photos of old people are just, they're sitting there for like, I don't know how long to get the exposure right. So they have to
the motion is lost.
they have to keep an expression that they can hold
Yeah.
for a long enough time, right? Like if I told you to smile, it will be like you will lose your mind if you have to smile for like,
Yeah.
I don't know, 2 minutes. I don't know how long the exposures were. you, the
I mean,
smile.
they also have flashes.
I
Remember
mean,
those flashes that they were like, boom?
it's true, but
Yeah.
you know, back in time, as you taking a photo was a
Mhm.
serious thing, not to be taken lightly. So you had to take a, you know, look very serious and still. So
Yeah.
this is why this photo kind of jump out at people.
Yeah, for the people that are not watching the stream and they are listening to this later, this is a photo of an Asian looking man with a bowl of rice and a pair of chopsticks looking at the camera, super happy,
Yeah,
like very happy,
grinning basically
like
with with
smiling
an
and
open
like,
mouth.
yeah, it's like it's really giving you this feeling like this person is so happy to have the rice in their hands and start eating soon. Kind of.
Yeah.
And this is something that, yeah, we are not used to put together the concept of an old photo with motion of this way. So people are like, is it really an old photo or is it a new photo that is made to look like an old photo? It's a little bit of a, people don't really.
Yeah, but then I think the reason why I wanted to bring this up is that when you were looking through Vivian Maier's photos
Yeah.
and you're browsing them and picking some for us to share today,
Mm-hmm.
you noticed a similar thing. Is that these kind of street photos, they might be, I mean, some photographers, some really good photographers might be still be able to capture
Mm-hmm.
really nicely composed street photographs of people like sleeping or, just completely unaware of the camera in the street,
Mm-hmm.
like she did. But then the setting
Mm-hmm.
looks new.
Yeah.
But the way she did it back in the time, which is quite uncommon,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a window back in time. It's like you peeking
Yeah.
into the real life, not when people
We're
knew they were
posing.
being, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're actually looking into their day-to-day life.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the charm of this kind of photography, of her work in particular.
Yeah.
It's it's like a bridge back in time towards those people being represented as real human beings, so we establish a connection with them, and at the same time they are foreign to us because we are not living in the 50s or the 60s, so there is this element of being in a different era. So it's like these two very opposite things, which is feeling connected with them because we can feel emotions and feel is a real human being in a real life, but at the same time looking at a setting that we are not familiar with, that is very foreign to us. And I think those two things together is what make her work so captivating and so great to look at.
I'm browsing through some of her
Yeah,
photos.
so
You put those in a folder called sleeping.
yeah, I put those because one thing that she's known for is being a bit of a creep and taking photos of people sleeping in the streets, which I do agree is a very interesting subject.
Right.
Uh, so she has a big body of work, which is just people sleeping in very strange positions and in strange places.
Hold on, let me fix this one really quickly because I think your
Yeah, the
or
stream is a
you
bit.
know what? Yeah, I can actually just turn you off.
Sure, that's better.
How do I do that? Right there. Okay, so now you can see the photos fully.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Because yeah, this man in the back was hidden behind your picture-in-picture camera, so you can see you're saying that it's kind of creepy. You can see how spooked out
The other two
these
are,
two
yeah.
men in the background.
Another thing that I love about the work of Vivian Meier and how it feels so spontaneous is that I find myself trying to figure out how did she take the photo or what was the situation when she was taking the photo. That the other day we were talking about that. I think I actually might have saved that specific one in the color work, which is a picture of a group of men across the street, and then there are two black women, each in one of each side, and
Oh,
they're looking back.
I love that one.
And that one we were saying like, I wonder how she did that. Did she just frame and then call the girls saying, "Hey girls," and then they both looked at and then she took the photo, or like all this like storytelling around the photos that she took? That's also part of the charm of me enjoying this work. And I think for you is as well
I mean,
similar.
it's amazing. It's insane. You know the style of photography that I like, and this is it in its purest form. I
Yeah.
didn't even know. Like when I actually, I think I told you how I came across her work. I was just walking, and I was walking, taking photos,
Mhm.
and I think it was on the same day that I. Do you know the photo of a man sleeping in Kulturhuset that I took?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So, and I think I literally just took that photo that day, and then circled around and came back to the Fotografiska. For those of
Store.
you who don't know, Fotografiska is the Swedish photography museum kind of thing. And so they had a store in the central station where I used to go by every day. And I would just pass by every few days, check the gallery that
Mhm.
they have. And I walked in that day. I was outside taking photos as usual, and I walked in and I found her book just like
Yeah.
open on one of the desks, and I start shuffling through it, and my mind is like twisted and blown, and it's like what I was like such masterful work with composition, and I mean I find it hard to describe how beautiful it is. It's and I didn't even know that she shot color. I just
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I mean,
I.
until you
I.
showed me,
Mhm.
I only knew about her.
Black and white. That's the main body of work because she only shot color, which actually is Kodachrome. Back like in the end of her life, then she kind of stopped to use the TLR and she used SLR with Kodachrome color in the late 70s, early 80s, I believe. I put here some color work just to show this is like masterful composition. I just love this particular photo. There's the railways all across and the man. These are the ones that I was saying like this. Yeah, they look good. They actually look incredibly cinematic to me. They were the ones with the two people.
These
Um,
ones.
two
You're saying,
photos.
hold on, you're saying the
I know.
stream very delayed.
Yeah, it's true.
So if you wanna see the
Okay.
photos,
Yeah.
you can look
So
here.
the ones with the two photos. Yeah. So those are the ones I was saying. Yeah, they are very good compositions. They are good photos, very cinematic. But do we find that they're even more artistic and play a bigger role in us when we look at them just because there are people that are not from now, like you could take the same photo here in the subway or in the train. Would we feel the same way about the photo if it would be someone contemporary than someone back in the 70s?
All right. Do you want my opinion?
Yeah.
My personal opinion? Probably yes. If they're that good.
Mhm.
So, and especially like now the two photos that we're looking at, the one in
Mhm.
the top,
Mhm.
the couple. I think they're a couple, and they have they're sleeping, and they have a cloth hanging on the coat hanger in the train.
Yeah.
But look at the lines. Look at the composition. If I see somebody taking a photo like this today, I will appreciate it just as much. And I don't know about other people. I can speak for myself. That's my opinion. And
Mhm.
if you pull up my Instagram right now and you start scrolling through the people that I follow, a lot of the work that I like to look at every day is similar work,
Yeah.
you know?
This thought of mine came because in reading one of the books about Vivian Meier, in the end of the book there was an excerpt of a book from Susan Sontag, which is called On Photography. Susan Sontag was a philosopher. She was actually the wife of Annie Leibovitz, which is a very famous photographer. She has one book of essays about photography, and they put this excerpt at the beginning of the epilogue, and I'm gonna read it just because I want to make the connection of why I was thinking about this while looking at those photos. So the epilogue says, well, this part: the particular qualities and intentions of photographs tend to be swallowed up in the generalized pathos of time past. Aesthetic distance seems built into the very experience of looking at photographs, if not right away, then with the passage of time. Time eventually positions most photographs, even the very amateurish, at the level of art. So this is the idea, the concept that I was kind of building in my head, like with particularly this body of work that we're looking at because it kind of transports us back in time. Yeah, I'm not saying that her work wasn't masterfully like the compositions are great and the photos are great by itself, but what component the looking back on time makes on this becoming art.
All right. Well, I think it's very fitting with the photo that is on the screen right now. Here's what I think. I think part of that is true. I mean, it even applies to Vivian's work. If you consider this photo that we're looking at right now, it has a it has a bigger value in the bigger story of who Vivian Maier was, especially this one. Even though she has more masterful reflections with circles. There's one that you love. I don't know if you put it in the folders. The one when there's something on the grass and there's her shadow.
I put it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you look at this one, you see there's two kids in the reflection below. And for those of you who don't know, Vivian was a nanny. That's her full-time job, basically.
Yeah, that was part of her identity, or most of it's being a nanny, and that's
Right.
how she's presented to the public now.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like the story that I know of is that she just liked to take photos, right? Am I
Yeah.
missing something?
No, definitely.
Was she was she a photojournalist,
She never worked professionally.
right?
No. But
So
it's
she-
something that it was such a big part of her life too.
I agree.
So
Look, nobody referred to me as a photographer, but that's basically the only thing I do for the past I don't know how long.
yeah.
I'm not putting myself at the same level.
No.
But all I'm saying is, she wasn't a photographer as a profession.
Mhm.
She was
Yeah.
a nanny.
Yeah.
And that gives this photo significance
Mhm.
because she did amazing art with her photography. And at the same time,
Mhm.
we learn later that this nanny taken these great photos, and now we have a opportunity to look at them.
Mhm.
And this takes us to that part of the story of her being the nanny, because you can see her basically taking the kids for a walk, I guess.
Yeah.
And I mean, for for anybody else who I don't know who the people in the photo are, maybe it's not the same.
Yeah. This photo is so good. She was the queen of mirrors, as you call it.
Of course. But I think that statement that you read for us, it doesn't apply to all the old photos,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
It doesn't. And especially not for the trained eye, let's call it, or
Mhm.
the for someone who appreciates these kind of things. And I don't think it's for everyone. Like I don't think everything's for everyone. I think I recently got into this kind of heated argument about a photographer that I didn't like his photos, right? It's an old classic photographer and I'm not a fan, right?
Mhm.
And I've seen a lot of his photos. He photographed a lot of famous people,
Mhm.
and I don't necessarily think they were good photos,
Yeah.
right? And I just thought that just because of the people he photographed doesn't
Mhm.
make him necessarily a great photographer,
Mhm.
right? And I think that relates more to the idea you were talking about,
Mm.
where just because of the time she photographed doesn't take away from the fact of her being a great photographer,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it doesn't always apply, but it does in other scenarios.
Mhm. So from here, from the color works, yeah, I just put. There is one. I think the first one. It's one because Vivian Meier, she worked with black and white for a really long time, which the way that you photograph black and white is mostly focusing on shapes, textures, composition. Color basically doesn't exist, so you don't look at color with it. So looking through her color work, I did find very good use of color in the compositions, and how the woman dressing just goes so well with the painting up there. Like it's just like really nice. But then at the same time, I found that in her color work she still took photos that are, to me, very classic, like black and white type of photography or compositions. And there is one of them, it's I think that one, yeah. So that for me is like that's how she sees the world as well, because she's been looking through a black and white camera for such a long time. Still, when you have a color camera, you are going to take photos of that kind, where color doesn't really matter so much. It's just
I
about the
mean,
texture and the shapes and
yeah, she's never looking through a black and white camera.
yeah.
She's always looking through even a TLR
Yeah, I know,
loaded
but
with black and white film.
but the way you look,
Exactly. That's
it's
what I
different.
want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about. Is she trained her
Mind,
mind
yeah.
to see the world in such a way that will make great black and white photographs
Mhm.
and color photographs. So
Yeah.
yeah, very, very, very good point.
And what else do we have in that? I just put some. I think we commented. Oh yeah, this one I put it because now everybody takes this kind of pictures with Cinestill 800T, and Mrs. Vivian, she did really good work at night as well, which and the photo is really cool with these neon signs.
Right?
Spot on. It's like so good. Exposure really good and everything. I'm not so sure what camera she was using back in this time, which is quite later.
What else do you want to look into?
What else
Should
do
we
we have?
jump into mirrors?
Yeah, I mean these are examples of the why she's called the queen of mirrors. The way that she uses.
I mean, this one is just insane.
Yeah, that one I found out the one I like the most, because it's not just the mirror, it's also the decisive moment type of thing that Cartier-Bresson made so popular, which is like you have to take the photo when it's the moment, otherwise you have lost it. And I'm sure that she prepared a little bit for it, and maybe they were putting different pieces of glass into, and then she saw it, and then because also the squirm and the smile in her face, to me it really feels like I would put if I'm there trying to take that photo. It's like when they come, it's like, yeah, I got it.
Right? I remember now. One of the questions that we got was, what is a photo that you felt really happy
Yeah,
when you take? If I ever take any photo like this, that's the one.
definitely.
That will be the one that I will be very excited.
Uh,
Yeah, I think you got it right. Like if I ever take a photo like that, that look on my face will be. I would say that anytime you take a photo that makes you feel
yeah,
this feeling, that's the one. Because I can't going back to my own photos, I can't really think of one. I can think of many that made me feel excited. That oh yes, I was anticipating something, and I got it.
Yeah.
So for me, that's something that I feel
Mhm.
about. Um, it's kind of like sports. It's like when you kick a ball and it goes in the goal,
Yeah.
kind of situation. But let's go back to this.
What else do we have? Oh yeah.
We have this one on a rim.
She was able to find reflective surfaces everywhere and be able to take self-portraits. How amazing it is! I don't know of any other photographer that did this way.
Yeah.
Like
She's
we all
the-
do
she's the
self-portraits.
Original selfie queen.
She is the original selfie queen, and don't you dare tell me otherwise, because she is the one. She was back in the 50s taking these kind of photos. What?
She's amazing.
So good. That and also how she will implement those mirrors and reflections into compositions themselves. Come on, like really, guys, if you're listening to this, please go online and
Look
check
at her
Vivian
work.
Meier,
Yeah.
check her work, maybe get a book or two or three or four and enjoy it, because it's so good.
I mean, we all know somebody or more than one buddy that has a similar photo of this, right? Like I have a photo like this. I know somebody else who has a photo like this as their profile photos.
Yeah.
I've seen this photo a million times, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if who else was taking these photos back in the 50s.
I
That's
don't
the
know.
question.
That's the question.
And
Yeah.
the other thing is, they're not all that nice. Like the fact that she also used the lines. I mean,
Yeah.
to kind of center the mirror in a specific way.
And to me also that in the reflection is all books, and also like on the
There's
back of
books in
her,
the
and then
front
books
and
in
the
the
back.
front.
Yeah.
Like
There's a lot of elements here that if we like dissect this photo, it's not any mirror photo, but still, from the first look you look at it,
it's a mirror for.
it looks like a lot of profile pictures that you've seen of your friend who's a little bit
Yeah.
artsy and But yeah,
That's
here's
the
the one I was talking about earlier. This one is quite insane, to me. It's just
She also played with shadows really, really nicely.
right. I mean, there's a feeling. Like there's a feeling to this photo, not just composition. Like this is one of the few photos that gives me feelings as well. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Totally. I could be looking at her work. Like every time I look at her work, I get excited. I can't help it. I want to go out and shoot. And someone was actually saying here in the chat something like street photography with a Mamiya. Will they notice you? You know, I got the Mamiya C220 because I wanted a TLR because I am an all-time fan of Vivian Meier. And I want to go out and I want to take selfies and I want to take street photography with that camera.
So what's your verdict on that? Are you getting more noticeable with the C220?
I haven't taken out in the crowds enough
Yeah,
to
but
know.
you did have it on a few times.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm oblivious if people pay attention to me having a camera. I don't remember having any particular interaction.
I think
Did you?
yeah, I think when you don't have it on a tripod,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of more hidden than other cameras,
Yeah,
especially in crowded areas, dark.
I think people are way too used that cameras are in front of your eye
Mm-hmm.
to automatically identify it as a camera.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have it in your chest or like looking down is a different thing.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to go out in good weather and take some street photos with the TLR. I'm
Mm.
going to emulate and channel my inner Vivian Meier as much as I can with this camera.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that. Let's look at the next one. This one is also super crazy.
That one I really like as well.
I mean, you can see how she. There's a girl on Instagram who does a lot of work similar to this nowadays. Like all of her profile, she utilizes mirrors, multiple
Ah,
mirrors,
yeah. That
and
Asian lady.
yeah, and she also utilizes like sanded glass
Yeah,
to
I don't
create
remember the
texture.
name, but we can leave the link.
Yeah, we will leave. I'm sure most of you who are watching this already are familiar with her work.
She's pretty popular.
And she basically built her whole portfolio, you can say, on the concept of this photograph. It's just like playing with different mirrors.
But look at here, like how the camera and the bottom part of the body is in the upper mirror, and her face is in the bottom mirror, and it even have the little piece of roars from mirrors in the mirror. Really?
You mean the rear of the mirror?
No. It says
What?
mirrors. Corporation.
Oh, mirror
Mirrors.
corp.
Roars.
Yeah.
So it's just so good.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
good.
And it's just like she was just casually walking somewhere and she snapped this photo.
She has walked so much the streets.
Right. I mean, I think that's also like, I think that's the charm of most of her photos. Is like you can almost feel like, yeah, she was on her way somewhere.
You're walking with her
Because
somewhere. Yeah.
most of the time she captured herself.
Mm.
It kind of places the photo in time and event.
And herself. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Did you put in the photo that we couldn't figure out how it was taken?
Which one?
The one where it was like it was titled self-portrait?
No, I didn't put that one. Sorry.
Shame. All right. Here she utilizes her shadow to see through the glass.
Yeah, that's also because I wanted to see, like, she tries to integrate the rest of the scene within the
Right.
self-portrait, which is
But
just
look how
so good.
beautiful it is with the black and white. It kind of like add this punchy contrast effect. Like I've seen these photos done with color and more recent work. This one is like I like it. It's very punchy.
I'm gonna try to get you the photo you wanna know. What you wanna see? I think it was in the
Look at this one. This one is just like, she just defeated the final boss. She's standing over
And
there.
also, like, mirror to mirror to mirror to mirror is like an echo, which is so meta, and it's just so good.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen these, like, even like some Instagram influencers.
I'm just so fan. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Right, but I just like her pose. She's like, yep, I won. I win. I killed all the mirrors.
Yeah. I'm sending you the photo in particular.
All right, let me accept it.
I think. Yes. And this one, yeah, I don't know. They're so good. What else do I have? I actually have put a couple of curious ones. Back. We took at the.
These ones.
We look at the people sleeping. We look at the mirrors. Yes. So this one, I just love it because this is actually Vivian's bathroom, and I just feel so connected to that kind of view. She used to do most of the development at home of the things that she did actually develop during her lifetime.
I'm kind of happy to, and because to know that, because what I heard
Mm-hmm.
somewhere is that she just shot these roles and she never looked at them.
There are so many, so many, so many, so many roles that she never developed, and the next photo in that same pile, it's about that. Because for the people that are not familiar with what happened, Vivian was a woman. She was working as a nanny and taking photos on her free time, but she took a lot of photos. And when I say a lot, I say a lot. It was, I think at this moment they think the whole body of work is 150,000 rolls of work.
That's insane.
150,000.
That's a lot.
And what happened is that by the end of her life, she had all her material, all the photographic things in a storage building, and she stopped paying. People yet don't know why she stopped paying, but few months before she died, actually, all the materials that were inside the storage room, she had 3 storage rooms rented, got out to auction
Mm-hmm.
because of the lack of payment, and they couldn't contact her and they didn't get any payments. So her work is actually scattered because not only one person got the 3 storage units, different people got different parts,
Mm-hmm.
and then there is like a bunch of, like, it's so messy where things ended up. So some things were already developed, some things were not developed, some things were taken by one kind of collector or another kind of collector. Then to make it even more difficult, people that didn't know about this or the potential value of all this cut down the developed negatives in individual photos and auction them on eBay individually,
Mm-hmm.
which got bought by people all around the world in different batches, different times. So at this moment, Vivian's work is very scattered through the world as well.
It's
So I
crazy.
think Malouf is called the guy that holds the most of the work because he has actually, after, rebought things. He had part of the original lot from the storage room, plus then he got some other things from somewhere else. A mess. It's a mess. And it makes it even more difficult to also figure out which photos are together, which photos were taken where. That's where a lot of the work is not even dated. They don't know where it was taken. And then that photo that you're showing right now, this is a bunch of negatives that they just found like that in boxes,
Yeah.
not developed or anything,
I mean,
which is crazy.
in thousands, you say.
Yeah.
Thousands of rolls. I gotta bump up my numbers.
No, someone is saying 1,500. No, no, no. 150,000 rolls total, together with development and undeveloped things.
All right.
I mean, I'm going to put out my cheat sheet again. I guess maybe I can go and look. uh, Let me see. Uh, yeah, it's crazy how much she did over her lifetime. I still can't believe it. And of course, I don't think everything are masterpieces. Obviously, we don't take all our photos are crazy good photos, but her ratio of good photos was very high.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on. When you say her ratio, because you're saying what?
I
What?
I don't know how much it has actually been developed already. Maybe everything. I don't know.
Yeah, because I have seen a few.
Yeah, a few.
I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to hate on Vivian Maier. I love her work. But yeah, let's not
Yeah,
get
yeah,
into
yeah. So
ratios. Let's not demystify.
listen. Malouf collection, which is the original guy
Yeah.
that now owns about 90% of Mayer's total output, which includes 100,000 to 150,000 negatives. Okay. Here, negatives. I had gotten that. So that's actually, I guess, each photo, not each roll, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
So 150,000 photos. That makes more sense.
I guess.
Anyhow, it's a bunch of
I mean,
photos.
who's sitting there counting negatives? No.
Right? I would count rolls,
But
but
maybe they count rolls, and then if she shot only 120 with a 6x6, they'd be like, yeah, so this amount of rolls times 6.
I think it also, because things got sold individually. Maybe that's also why they're counting like that. I don't know. It's just a lot of work. Like, she did so much.
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
What?
This is the one that we were going to talk about.
Which one? Yeah.
This one is kind of, it's titled Self Portrait, right? If somebody has any theories, how was this a self portrait? I mean, I'm assuming that if this is the, like, so she's holding the camera and there are two mirrors, So she's taken a photo of the reflection because the camera doesn't even point straight at itself. I don't know. And where did she find these mirrors?
I don't know. She's the queen of mirrors, so.
I don't know.
I love that you can see the camera and you can see the back that she was where she had the camera, and then the little bags in the side for the light meter as well. So nice.
Yeah. But yeah, tell me your theories about how do you think this photo was, or if it was actually a self-portrait. I don't know. I'm at this point I'm like, who knows? Could have been a photo of her,
She could have used another camera.
right?
That's what Miguel is saying. Camera on a tripod plus timer. Maybe she's just posing.
That's true.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I didn't think of that.
So much. I don't know. I'm still amazed by her work every time. There are 4 books published, I believe. I have them all. There is one documentary, Finding Vivian Meier, which was produced, or the money that it's gotten by watching that documentary goes to the Malouf collection as well. And there is another documentary, but I couldn't find it online or anything. And there's also a motion picture, fictional but based on real life, about her. It's a short film, and I couldn't find it online either. I think it was actually shown in some short film festival or something like that.
I see.
But anyway, I think if you guys don't know about her work, you have something to do in the coming days, because I do think that everybody should at least check it out.
Yep.
It's very captivating, it's very interesting, and I find myself spending a lot of time looking into each photo.
And as always, we will leave as much materials as we can in the links. So if you're watching this later, or if you watched with us now, you can come back, check the links, and and also if you're listening, the links will be there.
Definitely.
As usual.
Anything else you wanna bring up to our listeners for this week's episode?
I don't know. Did we have anything else on the map?
Not on the agenda for today, but in case something comes up. We have a jingle.
We do have a jingle. I don't know if you heard it in the beginning. I just literally recorded it before we start, like 20 minutes. And Eva was freaking out. It was like, no, let's not do this today. And I was like, come on.
Yes, I wanted to sing to it.
Yeah, but tomorrow we're going to Stockholm.
Yes.
And hopefully if one of my friends is free, he's a musician, and we're going to record something nice.
That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, we had a piece of news which was supposed to be in the beginning, but here it is at the end. I think there was this company that's light meter. Hold on, let me take off my phone airplane mode. I don't know why I decided to be so professional today. As if any of that worked. Nope. Here's the thing. Let me see. So yeah, Reveni Labs, they're making a spot meter. So there's a Kickstarter campaign. We're not supported by Reveni Labs, but I found this to be exciting because one of our favorite photographers shared it, Nick Carver.
He worked hand in hand with them to develop it.
Yeah, so basically, if you're watching this, you probably already know who Nick Carver is, and he has a course on how to use a spotlight meter, right?
A metering course, actually, very in-depth metering course.
And he has a specific method. And if you're someone who took the course or thinking about taking the course, this light meter is supposed to be designed to work
with that method.
Perfectly with that method. And actually from the photos that I've been looking at, I mean, it looks like there's an overlay screen inside. Let me see if I can, oh, sorry. Let me see if I can put it here. Reveni Labs spot meter. Sorry for the silence. There it is. I think there's 2 versions of it. This is a smaller one, and I saw a bigger one, a chunky one. This is not the one that I thought of.
That's not the new one. I think the new one might only be not yet on Kickstarter. They were just sharing it in the Instagram, and I think they will open soon, or something like that.
Maybe, possibly. But it looks exciting.
Here, the second one, hot shoe spot meter. Yeah, that
There it is. Look at this chubby boy.
one.
And I mean, this is some good news to end the day's episode. We started with
Sad news.
rough news. But I can't flip through the photos. I don't know why.
They want you to accept all the cookies, maybe.
I did. I surrender. Let me see the photos. Yeah, but here you go. If you're interested,
Yes.
go check it out. And that's it for us. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, just before we leave, like CM is here sharing with us that he or she, they have the current center meter Reveni Labs light meter on their Leica, and that is great. So here's some feedback from someone that has a Reveni product.
Awesome. Is the stream on, by the way?
It is.
Cool. Because I see nothing.
Oh.
I just went to the YouTube to check the message.
Yeah. Miguel is asking, second-hand sport meter costs $400. How much is that?
Oh. I mean, that's a really big light meter.
Yeah.
If you're, I don't know, I think CM can give us an insight. Hold on.
Maybe.
I should be able to see it here on my phone to see if they have any information. No, all it says coming soon, February.
It's not yet on the Kickstarter even, so we don't know how much it's gonna cost. But I'm sure Nico will tell us as soon as he knows.
Yeah. Nico, that's Nico Photo News for those of you who are also on YouTube's
Yes.
photography hunt like us. But yeah, any other questions? Get into in the chat. You were monitoring the chat.
No, they are sharing their experiences with the light meter, which is nice. People talking to each other. And they were first like freaking out about the numbers of negative